What is up, everybody? Josh is running a little bit behind tonight, so y'all have got me to start this show. He will be with us directly, but until he shows up, let's show y'all this. Oh yeah, and you know what? Maybe it's a good thing Josh is late because we really don't have anybody else online too. That's all right. That's just how we roll. Plus, it's a holiday. It's a big holiday. If you're watching from somewhere not inside the United States of America, it is 4th of July weekend. So we got people traveling, folks all over the place, families out doing stuff. Y'all have fun. Be careful. If you do anything bad, do not bring my name into it. That's just how the general rules apply. Well, let's see. We do have a couple of comments early. What's up, Hunter? Yes, I saw that you were the first one. What's up, Tots? Have you already broke off to go play Warhammer, Tots? You better be watching the replay. You know how it is. Everybody's heard the news by now. Yes, we did have a legend in the comic book community pass away recently. And what Josh and I will be talking about him as soon as Josh gets on. I'm trying just to kill time. Dude, go eat. I ate before I started the show, and I am absolutely stuffed. I am like fat and happy right now. We do have some comic books to cover this evening. We will talk about the passing of Jim Shooter. I'm sure there is more drama in the Diamond camp. There's always drama in the Diamond camp. Diamond is just not going to be able to get their stuff together anytime soon. And it's, to be honest with you, this comment in no way represents the fine establishment of Haven Comics. And it is solely the opinion of me and me alone. It's time for Diamond to go away. It really is. I mean, there's just too much shady stuff going on, and it's time for it to end. You know what? While we're killing time for Josh, let's see. You know, let's go check old comicbook.com, see what they got going on. I was not prepared for Josh to be late. Oh, it looks like we're going to get a Superman video game. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Big shout out, like usual, to the person who does the intro, Nick Ellis. He really hooked us up with that. I really want to get a hold of Nick and see if I can get my hands on all their old Two Brothers comics videos, just to be funny. I think that would be hysterical. So we can start swapping out some of this stuff that we have. We are on a slow march to 1,000 subs. I think we're at 755 so far. Do thank all 755 of y'all for that. That is awesome of y'all. Do appreciate it. Oh, let's go do this. Man, we'll start running that right quick while we wait on Josh. Now, Josh was apparently having to grab something to eat and then get home, and then he was going to be online. So we will see him here in just a few moments. Like I said, by now, I think just about everybody in the comic book industry knows the passing of Jim Shooter. He will definitely be missed. Definitely one of the all-time greats. I know a lot of people got their first true introduction to Jim Shooter through Valiant Comics. That was a great line of comics when it was out. And then all his work just basically throughout the comic book industry, period. I mean, the man was everywhere at one point. Seemed like you could not get away from Jim Shooter. I actually got to meet him one time, and that was at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. And I sat there and talked to him for the longest time. I mean, just a super nice man. Literally would sit there and answer some of the dumbest questions you can possibly imagine. And just an absolute sweetheart of an individual. Let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, I figured it's going to be a slow night, just people traveling, people getting ready for tomorrow. Technically, it's July 3rd here. Um, and then our boy Nick, he's having a rough week. We'll definitely have to, you know what? Let's see if we can get in touch with Nick and see what he's actually got going on at this particular moment, if he can pull this off. I'm actually going to send it to our group chat that a lot of y'all know people in this group chat. They're all friends and family and stuff. So we'll see if any of them want to jump on for a few minutes. We'll see what happens with them fellers. What about y'all? Does anybody got any big plans this week? I'm really asking nobody. I think there's only one person that's watching right now. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, no, that's no good. What up, Blue? Blue, what is going on up in yonder direction? It is as hot as it can possibly be here. Y'all getting ready for the 4th? Big, massive plans? Well, we got one person that said they couldn't do it. So, you know what? I did manage to read a few books this week. What con y'all got going on next week? We'll look it up. Where's she? I'm dying. We will select that. No, we will not. We will select this instead. Let's take a look and see what we've got. So this right here is this week's comics. What's coming out this week? I have already picked up the Captain America, and I did read it. We'll be talking about that later on. I do hope that Josh has read it already, so we can kind of discuss it, maybe a little bit spoiler free. It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. As much as I hate to say it, and I mean, y'all know, anybody that's been watching this show for a while knows that I do. One of my top writers is Chip Zdarsky. Um, I was not a big a fan as his Batman run as I was hoping to be. Maybe I was just expecting more out of it because he was just coming off that monumental Daredevil run. But reading the first issue of Captain America, he definitely feels more at home in the Marvel universe for some reason, and maybe that's just me. Comic Con Nebraska. All right, let's see what all. Oh, and I did pick this one up. I am looking forward. Cannot wait to read that one right there. Let me take y'all that off the screen so y'all can see it. Because y'all know that, I mean, Hyde Street is just firing on all cylinders. They have not put out one bad issue at all. So let's check out Blue's Con and see what he's got going on. Oh yeah, I mean he was awesome in it. I mean just completely and totally awesome. But that, I mean his whole, yeah, I mean Batman was just lackluster. There was a couple of cool episodes. There was a couple of cool issues, but nothing that really like stood out. That one issue where they basically showed you where he was jumping through the multiverse, I thought that was cool. I really did. And Josh, I was actually hoping that I was going to get just a little bit more of a warning before you jumped on. because as soon as you jumped on, I was going to hit you with where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? With this right here.
Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it right there.
Whew. All right. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Thank you, Alan, for picking up my slack. I was just in Gunnersville. For anybody who doesn't know where that is, it's about 45 minutes away. At the airport, looking at comics in an airplane hangar for the past 3.5 hours.
Okay, I need a little more detail on that.
Had a guy wanting to sell off a bunch of comics and had to go and look at them. And it was a lot of comics. And they weren't in comic book boxes. They were just in boxes. And they were in rather sizable boxes at that. So probably 5,000, 6,000 comics.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot. And it was very hot in that airplane hangar, just let me tell you. It was quite toasty.
Well, but was there anything in it that was worth the drive?
Not for the price that he was wanting, because he was wanting to sell the whole kit and caboodle, which I don't blame him. That's what I would rather do too. But at the price that he was wanting for what he had, yeah, we couldn't get there. But he respected what I was telling him, as far as price and why we couldn't get there and things like that. And he's like, okay, so he might change his mind, he might come down, but oh man, that was a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Did I mention that it was in an airplane hangar, so it was really hot?
Well, I mean, yeah, you poor thing. I mean, we live in Alabama. What do you expect? And then you went to the armpit of Alabama on top of that. Yeah, I said it. Send all your hate mail to nick@twobrothers.com.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sent that mass text a few minutes ago. I was kind of hoping that Nick would respond and we could see exactly where he's at right now.
That's true. Of course, last time he was there, he jumped on the show anyway, right?
Yeah, he did. Sitting right there in the courtyard, no shame whatsoever.
Looking at the castle and being all like, yeah, whatevs.
Mm-hmm. Lord have mercy.
I just saw you talking about Sisterhood. Man, that's a great comic.
I have not read it yet because I did run by the shop today, and the only book that I was able to squeeze in out of today's stack was Captain America.
I thought you were going to say G.I. Joe, but I get it.
No, okay, so here's my full disclosure on Captain America.
Let's talk about it.
I think that I'll go ahead and get the book out. We'll just go ahead and talk about that book right now.
I was going to go grab it if you didn't, so yeah.
In my opinion, and this is solely my opinion, this is the book that we're talking about. What happened? Where'd we go? Oh. Captain America, to me, and to me personally, has always been a highly overrated character. Not that I did not like the character. I just always thought that.
So, how's everybody? What is this? Captain America's overrated character. What?
I have just always felt that about Captain America. And now I'm really gonna. There's a lot of people that's not gonna know what I'm talking about, but Josh will, and I'm probably gonna butcher the name a little bit. I have not truly been into Captain America comic books since the Bloodstone saga.
Holy smokes. I just saw some copies of that in that collection I was looking at just now.
You just told me everything I need to know about that collection then. But yeah, I mean, Captain America always had his moments for me, but overall, I just thought, like I said, but that's just me. But with this Captain America, it is Chip Zdarsky, and I'm always going to give Chip Zdarsky benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
I mean, I'm always going to give it a shot with him. And I read this issue of Captain America. I do have since I do not read Captain America, I do have a question. Did something happen in the last series? Have you read this yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so he's only been out of the ice for like 2 weeks. Are they just starting over with him?
For 1 week, and yeah, the story's taking place in two different timelines. You've got the Captain America story a week after he came out of the ice, and you have the David Colton story taking place later.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I did not think about that because of the last page of the book when you see Colton again. So yeah, I did not think about that. Overall,
Let
I
me
mean,
rephrase. I read that to mean they're taking place at two different times. There's every possibility the David Colton story is taking place during the Vietnam era or the late Korea era when Captain America was pulled out of the ice. That is possible. I don't
well,
think so. I don't think
no,
so.
because on that very first page, and I'll show you right here, and here comes y'all spoiler. So if you need to, wait a minute, I think I even have a banner for that. Hang on a second.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is your fair warning. If you have not read it yet, if you do not want it to be spoiled, you might want to back away or mute us for a second.
It's the first
But
page. Come on.
very first page, he's watching the Twin Towers fall, and he's a
That's
boy
right.
then.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So I don't know how the timeline is really matching up, but then the very last page, I'm not going to show y'all the last page because I thought that was a phenomenal shot.
Yeah.
I'll say it like this. It wouldn't be the first time that a redheaded kid come up and took over the main character slot and it worked out. We saw it with Sean Collins, and we got the potential to see it here too.
I thought you were going to say Wally West.
Oh well, no, that's another one, Wally West. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was great. It seems to me after Zdarsky went Daredevil, Batman, now Captain America. It just seems to me like Zdarsky seems more comfortable, and totally my opinion,
In the Marvel
and more
universe.
at home in the Marvel universe.
I agree.
I thought this was a great read. I really did. I like we had two different main characters in this.
Yes.
And
it was a little bit confusing because like you're looking for a big banner that says 1962 or whatever, right? 1964 that tells you where you are in the chronology when you have a story that goes back like that. And this doesn't do that. You just have to figure out that Cap's only been out of the ice for a week.
Yeah.
And it's because it's an interesting conversation, right? That he has there where they say, like Iron Man's trying to talk him into like, hey, look, I got this Avengers thing going on. You really want to be part of it? And he's like, I don't know, man. The whole world is really weird to me. And the only thing I know that's still the same is the army.
Yeah.
That's where I came from. And that's where I think I should be. And so it's him going back to the army and reporting for duty.
Yeah. And it's obvious. I mean, Bucky's not around. So there's no Winter Soldier or anything. So it's and that's why for someone who does not read Captain America, that's why this was confusing to me.
It was a little bit confusing. It would have helped had they given you a visual cue right off the bat of what year you're in.
Yeah. I mean, literally maybe on the first page or even on the last page, like Ryan North did it with that first issue of a Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Because, I mean, it's the way Iron Man is portrayed in this and the way he talks about Mr. Stark funding the Avengers. It's
that's
almost
because
like
that's before people knew that Iron Man was Tony Stark. Yes.
Yeah. It's really it was really strange on that aspect, but I do like the way that Colton's his path literally mirrors Captain America's.
Very much so.
And I mean, I thought that was really good.
Do
I
you
did
have a
like-
sense that there's just enough different about him that he's going to end up being evil?
and I
Because
really
I kind of
hope
have
not.
that sense. I hope not, but I kind of have that sense. He's going to end up not being a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw the last page. And the reason why I thought of that was the art on that last page and the shot that you get was absolutely perfect. And it was a moment that you're kind of like, that's awesome. And then your secondary thought is, he's the next big bad. So I really hope they don't. What did you think about this new Captain America suit that he kind of shows off a little bit?
I'm a classic fan.
Oh, you're a plastic fan? I thought this was cool for like a covert ops type suit.
Fair enough for that, but
And that was about it. I mean, that really was. So
I
I
had to
love
text him. I was like, "Bro, where you at?" He's like, "I'm here. I'm here."
what up, Jay Weird.
James.
I like the conversation between him and Mr. Fantastic. I thought that was good. I mean, it was a solid book. Oh, and just so anybody knows, before anybody gets any bright ideas, I did y'all the way y'all normally do me, and I got the last copy today.
Well, I
Yay
can't order more.
me. No.
I can order more. That one is still available.
Yeah, this one is no longer available. This copy is
That
mine.
particular copy
This
is
particular copy.
off
But
the
no,
shelf.
I mean,
That's
I
right.
definitely
That's
wanna-
right. Tonight you got to leave out milk and cookies for Captain America, or is it apple
Oh,
pie?
and hey,
It's
if you just
America.
happen
You got to leave out apple pie and a hamburger.
Yeah, and if you just happen to see a Captain America short tomorrow on the YouTube channel, you just accept it.
Fair enough.
Uh-huh.
Have we talked about Jim Shooter yet?
I just kind of briefly mentioned it. I was talking about the one time that I actually got to meet him and talk to him. I mean, super nice guy. Will definitely be missed. I mean, a true giant in the comic book industry. Look at that.
That's his very first comic that he ever published or had published. He sold this story to DC when he was 13 years old. It was published, but it took several months, but by the time it was published, he was 14. But he sold this story to DC when he was 13 years old. And here's the important thing. He was lying in a hospital bed, and he read a lot of comics. And he's like, why aren't DC's comics as exciting as Marvel's comics? They should be. And so he wrote to the editor and said, "Hey, I got a story here for you for what at the time was one of their weaker books." And the important thing here, and this is always people forget about this. Let's see if you can see it through the glare. Story Jim Shooter, art by Jim Shooter. He taught himself how to draw, and he did the interiors on books for a long time. Now the cover's Kurt Swan, but Jim Shooter wrote and drew this when he was 13 years old. 13. What were you doing when you were 13? I can tell you it wasn't this.
What was I doing when I was 13?
It's a PG show, buddy.
I was hanging out at Matt's place because he had an in-ground pool, and we
Reasonable.
and at 13 years of age, I don't care because I was still doing it at 51 years of age. We had GI Joes floating all over that friggin' pool.
Yes, that's the only thing to do. That's the right thing to do.
Yep.
But anyway, I've met Jim Shooter a couple of times. Met him at the expo, and what an absolute incredible guy. He had a complicated legacy because he made a lot of enemies. He made a lot of people mad. But one of the reasons he made a lot of people mad was because he fought for creator rights, and he's the reason that creators uh, get royalties on things now. Uh, a lot of the stuff that he won rights for creators have been rolled back over the years, but he won a lot of creator rights that were amazing. Bill Sienkiewicz flat out said on Facebook yesterday that without Jim Shooter, he doesn't get a job in comics. And imagine a world where
Wow.
Bill Sienkiewicz wasn't in comics. But yeah, he had his stint at DC. He was the editor in chief at Marvel during arguably one of its most dynamic and impressive periods. The Black Suit Spider-Man, that was under his watch. G.I. Joe was under his watch. Transformers was under his watch. Just book after book after book after book were because of Jim Shooter. Just amazing guy. And then from Marvel, he went out and he started Valiant. And he brought back all those characters from the 50s, like Turok and Magnus Robot Fighter, Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom, all that stuff. Things went sour at Valiant. He went and started Defiant, which was a great name, by the way, because it was exactly what he was feeling. Star Wars.
Didn't he have something to do? I remember and it was like a brief moment in the 90s. But Exo Manowar.
Oh yeah, that was Valiant.
Yeah. Didn't he have? Because I mean, there was like a brief moment, like a summer in the 90s, where Exo Manowar got like a massive push.
Well, Exo Manowar, Harbinger, if you remember Harbinger, that Harbinger #1, I looked at, picked up, put down, picked up, put down 24 times. Always like, oh, I'll pick it up later, and then it was sold out, and then that was a $250 book, and I was kicking myself. But yeah, Jim Shooter was an absolute giant of a man, and literally, I mean, he was 6'7", and he just towered over everybody. And also, just what he brought to the industry and what he did, he will be sorely, sorely missed. And if you ever got the chance to talk to him at a show, boy, he would tell you he had these notebooks in front of him that had comics in them, letters from Stan Lee that he got saying like, "Keep at it, kid. You're doing a good job. In this book, maybe have him do something like that." You know, but he would pull those books out. I mean, and these are books that are worth so much money today. He would pull those books out willy-nilly, and he would just point to this page and show you this particular thing or tell you about this particular thing that happened. And he's just incredible. Just an absolute giant of a man, and I understand that he made enemies and he could be difficult. I get that. Show me a comic book creator that can't be difficult. But he was nothing but kind to me and everybody I've ever known who has met him. Nothing but kind, nothing but generous with his time. Just a really nice guy with an incredible encyclopedic knowledge of comics. And what a contributor. He will be very sorely, sorely missed.
Yeah, the one time that I actually got to meet him and talk to him, we were I was standing there talking, and he literally just kind of opened up this book that he had.
Yep.
And it was like a whole bunch of ideas that he had written down and some of the stuff that he does. And then he had all these sketches in there. And I was like, and a couple of them, I can't remember what book it was, but a couple of them, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't remember that sketch from those books. And then it was one of those moments where it was like, should I have said that out loud? And then he kind of looks at me and he goes, oh, and you won't. He goes, because when I would send in some of my scripts, if I had a very distinct idea in my head, I would send it pre-sketched to the artist and say, hey, do this. And I was like, okay. And then that kind of opened up a whole other set of questions about like writers working with the artists and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And man, he literally sat there forever and was telling me like all the ins and outs, especially like in the 80s and 90s of writers and artists working together. And I mean, it was just blown away. I was blown away by the fact that this man was a wealth of knowledge, and I was the only person standing there talking to him. It was
Yeah,
actually kind of sad.
and he was so generous with his time too. He wouldn't like shoo you away or next. No, none of that. It was he would talk to you as long as you wanted to stand there and talk to him.
Yeah.
And people didn't wait single file for Jim Shooter in line because he was just telling these stories and people would just kind of gather around, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
technically he's talking to you, but they would just gather around and swarm the table. Um, he's one of those guys that I wish to goodness I could have just spent a day or two with or a week and just sat there and talked comics with him because what an eye-opening experience that would have been.
Yeah. Honestly, out of the two guys, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I've met. I didn't realize how many of them I've met until a couple of years ago. But out of all those guys that I've met from that era and earlier, Roy Thomas and Jim Shooter are my two favorite.
Man, Roy Thomas, Jim Shooter, Tom DeFalco, Tom Brevoort, uh, Stan Lee. I look back and think, would I have ever in my life thought I will meet all those people who were at one time editor in chief at Marvel or such a high level contributor at Marvel, and I would have laughed you in the face. But I've not only met them all, I've talked with them all, I've gotten things signed by them all. And not just random stuff or not just the most valuable book, but something that was meaningful to me. Um, it's pretty amazing. And this right here, I just sit and think a dude who sold a comic when he was 13 years old and then became the kind of guy that he became. What a tremendous loss to the comics industry. Just incredible. But uh, rest in peace, Jim Shooter.
But out of all the, and I mean, I like listening to their stories
Yeah.
about working in the industry. I just yeah, him and Roy Thomas had some good stories too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there's only one out of all those guys that for whatever reason I was completely and totally starstruck, and all I could do was thank God they were actually standing at the Haven booth talking to you, because all I could do was just stand there and stare at it. And that
Who
was
was,
that was Starling.
oh, Jim Starlin. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it was just kind of like that was my reaction. I couldn't do anything. And in my mind, I'm thinking, thank God Josh is talking, because if I try to talk to Jim Starling, I'm going to look like a flipping idiot. I can't. That's. I mean, I wanted to ask him to sign something so bad because he was standing right there, but I couldn't even get that out of my mouth.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about Jim Starling. Thanos was right.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
I need to know.
That's all you need to know. But anyway, I wanted to make sure. I mean, God knows comic book creators don't get enough recognition in this life. Most of them don't. And when we lose one like that, I this particular one hits hard for me. Um, and because Larry Hama is amazing and he made G.I. Joe what it is, but G.I. Joe would have never existed had it not been for Jim Shooter.
Yep.
Period. The end. It would not have existed. Um, it was his idea, by the way, to say G.I. Joe is not a guy. G.I. Joe is the name of the unit. And so that gave Hasbro, because they wanted to create a line of characters or a line of action figures, but they were like, we can have G.I. Joe as a scuba guy, G.I. Joe as an a pilot, G.I. Joe is this, G.I. Joe is that. And he's like, no, let's make it a unit. And so you can be whatever you want. And they have their own code names, their own backgrounds. And then when they released the toy line, the first one, he wanted them to have a villain. He wanted a Cobra officer or a Cobra figure. And they're like, nobody buys villain action figures. And I'm like, have you not seen Star Wars, people?
Mm-hmm.
But he convinced them to do at least one, and then that was one of their best sellers. And today, 40% of all action figure sales are villains.
There was something that Hasbro Pulse recently released. Did you see the Snowcat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the video?
No. No.
You should see how big that thing is, but also how cool it is. You would like it for a couple reasons. One, on the driver's side, just behind the cockpit, it's got this pull-out thing
Oh, I
that's got
know.
like a sink and a stove and all that stuff like those high-end campers have now. And then the second stretch goal is the old bivouac playset. If you remember the bivouac playset from when we were kids, it's the bivouac playset, but you know, ratcheted up to the classified series. It's beautiful.
I mean, I thoroughly examined all the pictures, but I did not watch the video. I'm just not going to.
You missed
I'll
out,
wait
brother.
till I'll wait till somebody else gets it, and then I'll play with theirs.
You still have time.
No, I do not.
You do.
Mm-mm. I kind of want this Hawk action figure with the
With the MMS.
MMS,
Yeah.
but I think they asking a little bit too much for that one.
Think what you will.
I think that. How many did you order?
I don't do multiples. I'm not getting them for resale. I'm getting them for me.
So next up on the list is Fantastic Four issue.
Let's talk about it. Let's do
talk
it.
about it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I get it. This was a sad issue. I mean, there was a death in it that I mean, honestly, with you saying that,
hang on. Let's be honest. Spider-Man right now is not selling well. So I would not be surprised at all if Transformers is outselling Spider-Man.
yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, we've covered Spider-Man a lot.
And right now, it is solidly okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's bad when people can get excited over solidly okay.
Somewhere in the meh instead of the range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I still can't even bring myself to pick it up as solidly okay.
I get it.
I mean, they have disappointed me for so long. I need to get off this flipping Hasbro Pulse website. They have upset me for so long with Spider-Man. No, can't do it. Can't do it. So
not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
This is the last issue for this run. They are getting, they are starting back. I did find it funny how something that you don't always see with this character, but toward the end of it with Reed Richards, where he's sitting underneath the tree with Valeria.
Yep.
It was almost like he was getting as close as Reed Richards can get as being theological. As what?
Human?
Yeah, human. That's a good word for it. But yeah,
it's normally so robotic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great issue. This is the end of a spectacular run. I mean, I know Ryan North is going to keep writing, but still, I mean, I am excited to see which direction he goes in now. As much as I hated it when it started out, I hope they do not get rid of Johnny Storm's mustache. It's just iconic at this point. He's got to keep it.
It's atrocious, and I can't wait for it to go.
I like it. I can't help it but like it. Next up on my list was Justice League Unlimited issue 8. I like the fact that some of the heroes that Airwave brought over are trapped there now, and they got to figure out a way to get them home.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen the last of Airwave.
No.
And if for some reason we have seen the last of Airwave, 8 issues was a great introduction, failure, and redemption story arc for that character.
It really was. I have to say, character that came out of nowhere. Quickly, you're like, "What's going on here?" And then the redemption arc has been really. I'm glad it went that direction. I will say that.
Yeah, and I did, as bad as I hate to say it, I did get excited when he showed back up. I believe it was in issue 7 with all those older heroes, from the
Yes.
from the multiverse,
That was great.
and being able to pick them out and look at them. But yeah, I mean, this story arc is pretty much done. We'll see which direction they go in now. I'm sure that we're going to get some. I mean, we kind of know which direction they're going in with Time Trapper and World Forger.
Yep.
But to actually see what they do, and you know what? I had it pushed down since I mentioned Time Trapper and World Forger. We'll jump straight to this one, Superman issue 27. So, if you're not reading it, you need to be reading it. But the whole Time Trapper and World Forger thing is briefly discussed on the back 2 pages of this book. And we do get, and I believe they are the Legion of Superheroes, just the absolute version of them. They are getting ready to pay Superman a visit. So we may be seeing absolute and unlimited crossover quicker than what we thought they might be.
I very much get that impression. Yes.
Yeah, because they are talking about a big event toward the end of the year.
Yes.
So, and I don't want to see them do that.
I really don't either. I would like for them to remain separate for probably ever, but
yeah, but I mean, this one, another fun issue. I mean, it's this run of Superman, Williamson's doing it. I mean, Williamson, just about any book that he's writing now, he's crushing it. I mean, he's doing just a really good job with it. Next up, which we kind of talked about some last week, but I hadn't read it yet, which was Hyde Street issue 7.
it's so good.
Frankie gets everything that he deserved in this issue.
Well, not everything he deserves, but he gets definitely some things he deserves.
Yeah, I think he's going to get more, and I really hope that they do set up eventually Matinee Monster versus Pranky. I think that's your 2 heavyweights going against each other. I mean, yeah, Mr. X-Ray's got his thing going on, but I think the big fight that we need to see is Pranky versus Matinee Monster.
Yeah.
I think that's the big one right there.
How'd you like that cereal box ad? I love those are great.
I want to try the peanut butter and
peanut butter
Dr.
Jelly.
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yes.
Yeah, I want and see, look, this inside page even looks like they're lining them up for a heavyweight fight.
Yep.
So it's, yeah, and then Sisterhood. Yeah, I'll definitely be reading Sisterhood. But man,
let me just tell you, I thought Sisterhood was going to be a one shot, kind of like the Devour was.
Yeah,
it is not.
It's 5 or 6 issues.
It's definitely more than one. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
There was one particular page. Oh, actually, it was 2 pages.
Yeah, Pranky got what he deserved.
But the art is absolutely phenomenal.
It's Ivan Rice. He's amazing. He's one of the best artists in the business.
Next one, you said this one disappointed you.
Yeah.
And It was disappointing to me also, but I think we got two different disappointments going on.
Okay.
News from the Fallout. Story wise, it's not what I was expecting.
Same.
I mean, we knew what the book was going into it, but this was not the story I was expecting.
Right.
It kind of has a almost like a prequel to The Hills Have Eyes feel to it.
Yes.
We're just getting the military version of it. The part that was disappointing for me was the art direction.
Yep.
It
It's
was
so
like that,
loosey goosey. It looks like somebody did it all in charcoal.
yeah, and it's almost like it's supposed to be. You've seen some of those, like I'm trying to figure out how to word this, and we don't trip YouTube censors, but when a certain thing happened in Japan a long time ago, and
Really
you
big thing
saw,
with mushroom clouds.
yeah, and you saw like the explosion was so intense, you saw people's shadows were like superimposed on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this art style felt to me. Like that's what it was trying to do.
Like superimposed shadows.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
superimposed shadows and negatives and all that. And
It's all
I just,
very loose, and it looks like somebody just took charcoal and
yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, some people might read it and love the art style and everything, but to me, it wasn't the big one. I think that cover is phenomenal,
That cover's great.
but I was not expecting this art throughout the entire thing. But we'll kind of have to wait and see how it goes.
Agreed. Agreed.
Another one that, I mean, we've been falling all over ourselves about this book since it came out, and I'm going to continue falling all over myself about it because Mama has got her baby girl back.
Oh yes. Yes.
And Mama is not one to be trifled with.
No.
I'm wondering though, I know this is what, 12 or 13 issues.
And number one is on a third print now.
Did you see where I'm sure you saw it, Absolute Batman 2 is about to head to its 5th or 6th print?
Yep.
But I'm wondering how Mama in this has proven that she's no dummy and she's not to be messed with.
Yes.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take her to figure out who the robot really is.
That I was wondering the same thing because it's gonna make itself evident faster than I think the robot will feel comfortable with.
And in this particular issue, the robot is already saying things and saying them in a way that he should not know. He should not understand.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be what ends up giving him away. Unless she pretty much hunts him down and is, hey, he's got to basically spill the beans before her little army or whatever takes him out. Because, I mean, it's literally, hey, look, you're not getting the spoiler banner. This one come out last week, so I'm going to talk all about this one. Mama is saving her baby girl now. And then, as she puts it, destroy the abomination. So this one, that was just too good. Another one, and this is actually my last one. I had a fairly light week. I got a light week this week too. I'm hitting that.
I don't like the sound of that.
Well, I'm hitting that 5th week blues stage.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on? But that was Rockefellers issue 6.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. We'll come back to bring on the bad guys here in a minute.
But I mean, Rockefellers, the neighbor being part of the witness protection program, I thought was kind of funny. And him thinking that he was part of the witness, that the Rockefellers were part of it also.
Yeah.
But the whole, every time one of them walked in the door, Dad is just kind of like, in the middle of fighting this thing. Oh, hey, how's your day going? And they just look at him and then they join in. And it was like every time somebody walked in the house, there's more and more and more of them fighting with this thing, but they're acting like it's no big deal. I mean, I just thought that was hysterical for some reason.
Fair.
But Rockefellers, I mean, it's only 6 issues so far. If y'all have not been reading that, everything by Ghost Machine has fired on all cylinders. You cannot pick up Ghost Machine and be disappointed on any level.
Well, yes and no. I think they haven't had any strikeouts, but they haven't all been home runs. Some are singles or doubles, right? Halo and Hornsby, that's more like a single or a double. That's not a home run.
Halo and Hornsby's taking too long to get to the point.
Yes.
We know what the point is, but they're taking too long to pretty much get us there and give us all the lore.
Yeah, I agree. So in Big and Me, and we'll talk about this, we'll go ahead and address this question.
Damn.
Bring all the bad guys.
And see, that one did sell out before I could get my hands on it. How was it?
It's an interesting book. Marvel's doing that thing again that just drives me up an absolute wall. It's not a one-shot focused on Doctor Doom. It's a series. It's a mini-series that tells a story from one issue to the next to the next. But they sell it as a series of one-shots, and that drives me batty. Like, how do you know which part comes next? You know, all this, unless you're paying attention right the moment when it's released, there's no way to track it going forward. So it sits in the back issue bins, and people have no idea what's what. They're like, well, it's a number 1. I just get the number 1. Like, no, that's actually number 4.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that. That said, this is quite interesting. I'm just going to show you 1 2-page spread. And I'm sure our card fan here will know exactly the 2-page spread I'm going for. Quite a lot of villains figure prominently in this, Mephisto being chief among them. And
okay, that's kind of cool looking, but what is it?
that's Mephisto's throne up there as he is sitting in hell. Just governing hell.
Nice.
What he wants is to get his hands on the Soul Forge. And what he wants is summed up very nicely in this last page. I'm going to hurt my book and do.
That is some good looking art.
He wants every soul on Earth. Now, the story is by Mark Guggenheim, who you might remember from writing the Moon Knight run back in the day with David Finch on art. And the art is by, God, what's his name? Raphael. Where does he say his name? It has to be in here somewhere. Come on. Tell me your name. Say your own name.
I can say that card.
Do what?
He said that it reminds him of Dante's Circle of Hell.
Oh, yeah, and it's very much intended to. It has 9 rings.
Now, Daniel, I think that's a good question. Why doesn't Marvel do something with Damian Hellstorm?
That's a good question. I don't know. That said, the next issue in this series, that's not a series, right, is Green Goblin. Bring on the bad guys, Green Goblin. If it's as good as this one, I'm going to read it.
Can you still get that one?
This is good. This is worth a read.
Can you still order that one?
I do not know, but I will check.
If you can, and if you'll just put me down for it, I'd like to get my hands on that series just to read them.
Yeah, it's worth a read.
you know, you kind of had no choice but to bring him up, and I just do not understand this. Y'all call me stupid if you want to, but I will ask the stupid questions with no shame whatsoever. Why has it been such a big deal to get Mephisto in the MCU? And why? And now I have my own personal reasons of why he finally appeared in Ironheart. I got my own personal line of thinking on that, but I don't understand what the fascination with getting him in the MCU was.
I don't know. I honestly didn't think it was ever going to happen because in some of the biggest markets on the planet, like China, they don't do the devil. It's not cool. They don't have that in their history, their culture, their mythologies. They don't have that, and they don't care for it, and so they very likely won't turn up for it. So one of the reasons that I think they've held off on it is because of that. But also, it's so limited in the kind of stories you can tell with a character like that
Mhm.
that make any sense. You can tell a whole lot of really stupid stories about selling your entire life, your marriage, your kids for an old lady who's already died 47 times.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that, but no, I don't understand the push, the drive, the excitement people have. Oh, it's Mephisto. I don't get it. I've never cared that much for Mephisto. Not
I
not my cup of tea.
I honestly thought Blackheart and Daredevil back in the 80s, was it 80s or 90s? I think it was 80s.
80s.
I always thought that Blackheart was the better character.
I agree with that. It's certainly a better character in the video game.
Oh yeah.
Did we talk about this already?
Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. It's so good.
Y'all, y'all, if you're not reading Redcoat, I don't know what to tell you. This is an amazing book. You should be reading it. Uh, it's just excellent.
I thought.
Boom,
Yes, I didn't.
boom, 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 boom.
I thought I had put the Mark Spears of Absolute covers in my store folio to show the people that didn't get to see them up at the shop because they sold fast.
That they did. But G.I. Joe, remember, what is it, 319? 318.
There is.
Larry Hama is a gift from God. This book continues to be amazing. It's just so good. And he's got the dual storyline going between the recon group on Cobra Island and then the ninjas infiltrating Springfield. Well, it's three storylines because he also has the Cobra Commander story where he's a prisoner in Castle Destro, being held prisoner by Destro and Baroness. And that story has taken an interesting turn in this issue.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, and how he's just taking all these disparate threads and weaving them together into this one cohesive narrative is beyond me. But it's absolutely brilliant. He's amazing. The book is amazing. It continues to be a real American hero, and I love it. Um, I know we just talked about this, but in no harm to double down. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean it was.
And notice the title of this particular story arc: Our Secret Wars, Part One. And
There
that's
was.
interesting. The inner battles that you fight, um, the inner battles you fight, the things that you're going. It's really cool.
And that title really, we didn't talk about it, and I want to do it in a way where I don't spoil it for anybody. But that title really gets driven home with his conversation between him and the former soldier with PTSD. I
Yeah,
mean, that was for what as little as said was actually said in that conversation. It was actually a very deep conversation.
it was. I agree.
I mean,
Um,
it was just a good scene completely.
Now, see, that right there is something you need to fix.
Yeah.
That's just something to live a full life. You have to fix that. That's just a problem.
Yeah.
This book I got for a few reasons. I picked it up because it came out from AWA. I picked it up because Dennis Cowan was doing the pencils and Bill Sienkiewicz was doing the inks. That's a rare thing.
Is it the book that I think it is?
The 5-issue limited series. First issue just came out. I'm gonna hold my hand over the cover because it's pretty spicy. It's spicier than we would normally show on here.
It's yeah.
That's the cover.
I've got it at home. I just don't know how I'm going to feel about it because the person that wrote it is really and truly not a comic book writer at all.
No, definitely not. And I couldn't care less. I wanted the art, which is spectacular. Um, and the story is interesting enough. It's not like groundbreaking. It's not some plot we've never seen before. Nothing like that. It's okay. It's okay. It's well, there was a story called Secret Wars in the 80s that was a 12-issue limited series, and I'm pretty sure it's based off that because that was actually good. Those other two, not so much. I'm just being honest, man. Those other two were not great.
Did you see that text message from Nick?
No, I feel like I have to.
Yeah, you have to because yeah.
Oh, good Lord! What the heck?
He's got to sell it to pay for that bag. I mean,
Oh my God! That's holy smokes!
yeah.
Foot for scale. That's hysterical.
Nick, if you catch this on the playback, I mean, I'll be there in October. I mean, I already know it. I've already accepted
it. Ultimate Wolverine continues to be an interesting book. The thought experiment of combining the Weapon X project with the Winter Soldier program continues to be worth exploring. This issue is a bit slow compared to some previous issues. He's starting to realize some things and like all those little flashes where he's like, I think maybe this isn't good. I think there's something happening. I think he's starting to realize who he is and come back to himself. Oh, there's Nick.
Hey Nick, do you want me to email you a link right quick?
That's just hysterical. I haven't had a chance to read this one yet because I realized that I haven't read the first one yet. But whatever happened to Crimson Justice, I'm excited about it. I've got to go dig the first one back out of the box and read it.
I've got to see what I did because it's funny that they're doing a Crimson Justice thing because did I just totally skip over it in here? I read the last issue of Green Arrow today.
Yeah.
And I bet I left it at home. I don't think I stuck it in here. And they have introduced Crimson Archer. And it has left it pretty much with Arsenal is at death's door.
Interesting.
So it's
you
really
mean
weird.
Speedy?
Yes, Speedy. And Speedy gets referenced, and the whole trials and tribulations of Speedy, let's put it like that, are heavily referenced. But it was really weird. You had Josh Williamson does this really great run. Condon comes in, or however you say his name.
Condon, yeah.
Condon. We get, which, I mean, it was decent. It was good for what it was. That Freshwater Killer story arc. And then it's Condon is still writing it, and he started this new story arc that came out last week, and it all of a sudden felt like it did when Josh Williamson was writing it. So it was kind of weird the way that played
Yeah, well, it
out.
might have just taken him a minute to find his voice for that character, you know?
Yeah, it
That
might
does
have.
happen. People, sometimes it takes a minute for them to figure it out. This
Yeah.
book I'm getting for a couple of reasons. One, because it's being put out by Mad Cave. Two, because I love the time period and it's a good period piece. Three, the story is interesting. And four, um, Nick Marinkovich covers. You tell me you don't want to read a book with that cover. I mean, that
He,
is, dude is amazing.
yeah.
The plot of this book so far is there's a guy coming back from the Crusades. One of the other, apparently, he's not the most type A personality. And one of the other knights is a real schmuck and is saying he's going to come home and do some awful things and mistreat the guy's wife and stuff like this. And the plague is coming to England from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at it as God's punishment on them. And okay, well, death, the side, Grim Reaper with the scythe, the whole 9 yards, comes to this guy and says, "Hey, I'll spare your wife and daughter for a while if you'll come and work for me." Because this one guy, I've been trying to reap his soul, and he's been problematic. He fights it for a minute because he's like, you can't make a deal with death. You can't make a deal with the devil. That's bad. Um, but at the end of this book, he ends up saying, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine. And you're just seeing the effects of plague ravaging everybody around. It, it's the interior art is not my favorite. It's kind of grainy, kind of old school. It's not terrible. It's just not my favorite. It's got a little bit of like not quite Jeff Darrow level of detail because he's hyper detailed, but he had a specific style that this is similar in style to, but doesn't get there. It's good. It's just not my favorite personal style. A lot of other people might like it. The story is very interesting, and the Nick Marinkovich covers are just absolutely amazing. Strongly
Um,
recommend.
when is Dead Romans supposed to start back?
Well, I don't think he's finished it yet. I think he's done with issue number 8,
That's a very important
which
issue
is the
with.
most important comic issue of all time. And then he's got, I think, 2 more issues to go before they want to solicit it and start it. They want to be well ahead so they're not late on delivery. But it's supposed to be later on this year. I think September, October timeframe. I think.
All right.
Um, Now we talked about this a little bit, but you haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I have not. So give us the synopsis.
2 girls, um, best friends. One of them, her mom dies. Uh, they're both in the car when it happens, but they have this bond. They're best friends. Well, they go off to college together, and one of them is more bookish and stay at home, and the other one is I want to go join a sorority. And so they start to grow a little more distant from each other. And the one that wants to join the sorority is pledging, and she's being hazed, and she dies. And so now the A plus student and the more stay at home one is just completely distraught, and the people who were hazing her, who caused her death, are blaming her and saying, "Oh, it was all her fault. She did it. She wouldn't want to destroy the sorority. she would take ownership of what she did because she was that kind of person. They're like, you don't know her. You just met her, and all you've done is make her life a living hell to the point where she died. So then this girl goes, not saying she's looking for revenge, but she's open to the idea. And she kind of wanders on to what sure enough looks like Hyde Street, and she meets somebody who can grant her wish. Uh, and bring her friend back to her, sort of. It's an interesting book. The art is spectacular.
Do you ever see the movie Sometimes They Come Back?
Yeah,
Is it kind of like
I
those?
appreciate it, but we don't really need a running tally of how many people are watching when. We don't care. We're here to talk to each other and talk to whoever is here now and later, because a lot of folks watch it later. So
Yeah, we'll actually have several that are watched. Well, tomorrow being a holiday,
yeah,
but we usually
you,
have a lot of people watch on Fridays.
yeah. I mean, you can keep track if you want to, but we don't need to know. We don't care. Um, anyway, it's a great book. You should read it. I know you're gonna, but I think you're gonna be very pleased with
Um,
it.
Reading, and this kind of goes back to something that I said a long time ago on this show that never come to fruition, and one day I hope it does. But reading Hyde Street makes me want to yard sale a Ouija board even more.
I get it. I understand. I know we talked about this one a week or two back. Um, yeah, this book is on a roll, man. This book is doing interesting things.
That was Hyde Street Sisterhood we was talking about, Daniel.
Yeah, you can see the Hyde Street branding there. It's very small. And this is not a one shot. This is a multiple issue series. Does it say how many? No, it just says a Hyde Street story. Um, very, very good. Oh, one thing I didn't point out was G.I. Joe, by the way. Um, and I don't know if he's doing this just for consistency across the art on the title or what. But he is a phenomenal artist. I have loved Paul Pelletier's art since back in the early 2000s when he was doing stuff at CrossGen. He has modulated his art style to more closely resemble Chris Mooneyham.
Mooneyham is so good.
To the point where I'm looking at the art on the first page and I was like, is Mooneyham back? I didn't think he was going to be back for this. And I had to look over. I'm like, no, that's Paul Pelletier. But once you get it, you'll see he has modulated his art style to be more aligned to Chris Mooneyham.
I could be wrong, but I think Sisterhood is only going to be 3 issues.
That's probably right.
Because that's all I'm seeing is 3 issues for it, and it's literally just called Sisterhood: A Hyde Street Story.
Yep, like
I hope they
Devour
do
was
more
a Hyde
stuff
Street
like that.
story. But it's really good. The writing is good. The artwork is good. It's a very, very solid book. I enjoyed it. Yeah, Absolute Superman continues to be an impressive book. I like the world building they're doing here. I like the factions that have built out here. I like the way that they're telling this story. Really, really good. Really solid.
I wonder how Absolute Superman is going to stack up against Justice League Unlimited Superman, because they will eventually square off.
Most likely. Most likely. It all depends on who's writing it and what their aim is, honestly.
Well, if it was me, it would be Absolute Batman squaring off against Superman Unlimited, and Absolute Superman squaring off against Batman Unlimited. I would reverse them.
Oh, that would be interesting. I know you talked about this one a week or two back, of Aliens versus Avengers, and you said you were disappointed in this, and I absolutely understand why.
It took 11 years to get 4 issues.
Yeah, I 100% understand why. you were disappointed in this. I get it. However, you also said there were some really cool moments in here,
Yep.
and I could not agree more. This whole thing where Mr. Sinister has created the ultimate mutant, shape shifting, teleporting, everything else uh, xenomorph is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is like unstoppable. I mean, literally unstoppable. Um,
But and as much as I think is he's an overused character now, the Venom Xenomorph was really cool.
right? That was really well done. That was a good use of the Venom symbiote. But yeah, on the whole, I thought this was a perfectly serviceable ending. Um, it just the rest of the series, aside from being taking forever to come out, the rest of the series was leading us to this huge explosive finale that we're all like bum bum bum, and we don't get that.
I
It's
mean,
it's it's a more low key ending. It was very very good overall.
the
It just
first
wasn't the
issue,
A plus blow me out of the water kind of ending I was hoping for.
yeah, the first issue was great. The second issue was really good. The third issue was disappointing, and the fourth issue was anticlimactic.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, you're not going to find the trade yet because the fourth issue of this four-issue series literally just came out like 2 weeks ago. So the trade's going to take a while to come out. It does not exist yet. So
And
you're not going
Hunter,
to find it.
yeah, to be honest with you, as long as it took them to come out with those four issues, I would be shocked if we get the trade for that by flipping Valentine's Day.
They should be pretty fast with the trade because it's all done already.
Well, you would think, but
You know.
I mean, it took them so long to get that book out. You'd think Diamond held it hostage.
Y'all, we need to talk about that too, I guess. But
I
uh,
had to slip one in. Sorry.
Ultimates number 13. This story gets more complex and weirder and continues to be awesome.
I like that cover.
Yeah, it's simple. Uh, what's happened here is Tony Stark, little Iron Lad, Iron Man, has figured out that there's no way to win against the Maker. There's just not a way to win. And and this is where you can kind of see how, from the Young Avengers storyline, Iron Lad was actually a young Kang. There's some elements of that here. And what you get is you don't find out until the end, the very, very end, in fact, that Tony Stark has essentially split himself into many, many pieces because there's no way you can do it all at once. And he has spread himself way too thin across all kinds of things. And so you have
Is,
all these Tony Starks here. And
is that
the Wasp who had snuck in like and hung around because she's very been concerned about him because he hasn't been himself. Um, he he's she's been concerned and trying to help him, and then she finds this out at the end. But I want to show you this one page. It's a single panel. It's a big splash page where they have gone to the Asgardians to ask for help, and the Asgardians tell them like, "Sorry, kids, you guys mean nothing to us. We don't." He says, "We don't. We no longer answer to mortal prayers. You must answer your own."
oh
But
wow.
this panel, look at this art,
That is awesome looking.
and you see tiny little Iron Man there flying up. But look at that! What an amazing depiction! I so very badly want the original art of this panel or of this page. that was just stunningly, beautifully executed. What an incredible piece of artwork that is.
And I'm guessing that's supposed to be Odin.
Yeah.
That is awesome looking.
Odin or Thor. It could be Thor.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess actually it is Thor because it says he answered in a voice like thunder. But holy smokes. Now, I have to address this. If it's volume 1 of the Ultimates from the current series that's going on now, read that. If it's the Ultimates from the early 2000s, do not read that. It is a waste of your time, and it's also got some super gross stuff in it. And I don't mean gross like blood and guts kind of gross. I mean just like, why did they tell that story? What is wrong with these people? Well, that's what I have to talk about tonight. I guess on the quick to wrap up, since you mentioned the whole diamond thing, for anybody who does not know, Diamond has declared bankruptcy. They got sold to a company called Ad Populum, which is mostly toys and stuff. They've continued to operate for a little while, but most of the companies, the smaller press companies, not your Marvels and DCs and things like that, but most of the smaller press companies who sold, distributed through Diamond, Diamond held their comics on consignment. Diamond did not buy their comics. So Diamond held them on consignment, and if they didn't sell, Diamond ships them back, right? That's the rules, because Diamond does not own that product. Well, now Diamond is claiming they do own that product, and they are attempting to sell it. And they are literally stealing thousands and thousands, or in the case of Dynamite and a few others, millions of dollars worth of product. They're stealing it from the publishers who created it. And then you get publishers like Dynamite, who Diamond owes them more than $1 million. And because Dynamite's not, or Diamond owns Dynamite more than $1 million, and because Diamond's not paying them and stealing their merchandise, they're not going to be able to make payroll this week. It's a terrible, terrible place to be. And the people who have purchased Diamond are crooks.
So Tom was telling me something today about something that Dynamite is doing to try to make the money so they can.
They're doing a humble bundle.
Yeah. Okay. So can you explain the humble? Well,
Yeah.
I about stumbled all over that one.
If you go to Humble Bundle, now you got me doing it, Humble Bumble. If you go to the Humble Bundle, they are selling, I think it's 47 or 49 Disney titles electronically. That's a key thing to note. They're not selling you paper products. They're selling you electronic copies of their comics, and essentially letting you pay whatever you want to pay. If you want to give them, if you want to be a chintzy jerk and give them $3, you can do that.
Now, is that because I literally just went to that website. See, what's going to happen is I'm going to start stumbling over those two words for some reason, and it's going to make me mad. And I'm going to go to cussing to the point that the YouTube censors and people that I go to church with are embarrassed.
Yep. Yep.
I need to stop trying to say those two words.
Humble Bundle.
I cannot say them.
That's because you're trying to say them together too fast.
Exactly. I'm guessing it's under bundles and under books.
Probably. I don't know. I just went straight to the link that Gail Simone published on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. I literally just went to their site.
But you can go to the Humble Bundle, and you can buy that. It's, I think, 47 or 49 comics that you get for however much you want to give. I'm not a guy who's going to buy electronic copies of comic books. It's not what I do. I don't read them that way. But I supported that because it's a way that I could give back to them and support those guys, even if I never open those PDFs. And I don't care whether I do or not. Um, but they're all their Disney content, which was smart because anybody can buy it. That's family friendly for all ages, not some of their more mature stuff. Um, but yeah, just wanted to let you guys know. Yeah, that's absolutely worthwhile doing. The other thing I want to let you guys know, and then we're going to wrap up a little bit early. It is absolutely ridiculous that a company has to do that. It's a travesty.
Yeah.
And I hope they win their day in court. I hope they're able to get their day in court. They asked for an expedited hearing and were shot down, which is also ridiculous. Because they're trying to treat their people right and take care of their people, and they're just being given a shiv in the back. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, you might not have ever heard of the guy. It's okay. All comic creators start somewhere, and when they first start, nobody's heard of them, right? But we have a comic book creator coming up to the shop this Wednesday from, I think, 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. His name is Travis Gibb. And he's got a handful of comics that he's done. And these are professional comics. These aren't like he whipped them up in his backyard or in his basement or something and just hit his laser inkjet printer. These are real comics. Support folks who are starting out. Even if it's not your cup of tea, if you don't think it's the best thing in the world, they grow in it. Our creators grow and morph if they're given the opportunity to, and we want to support these guys. So Travis is going to come out to the shop on Wednesday. He's going to be there for, I think, 3 or 4 hours. I would really appreciate it if you guys can show up, buy a comic from him, get him to sign it. If you're feeling real sporty, buy 3 or 4, buy one of everything he's got, whatever. But buy something, get him to sign it. Talk to him about making comics. See how he got into it. Do all that stuff. It'll be well worth your time. It'll be worth a few bucks to support a creator that's up and coming. And then when they hit it big, you can go back and say, oh, yeah, we supported that guy early on, and those folks are always a lot more meaningful than the people who jumped on the bandwagon later to that creator. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that front. Travis Gibb will be there. We've got a post about it on the Haven Facebook page. Go check it out. Look at his stuff. Come out, pick something up, get him to sign it. Talk with him about comics. It will be well worth your time, well worth a few dollars. So strongly encourage you guys to do that. It'll be great for him. It'd be good for I would appreciate it just as somebody who likes the medium and appreciates folks who contribute to it. It's what Jim Shooter would want you to do. He might not. He might reach down and smack me on the back of the head for that. Might get a good Gibb slap out of it. But anyway,
it's a great way to support the creators.
100%. No arguing that.
Keep in mind, we don't get fun, cool things if they don't get fun, cool things.
Or, enough money to eat and pay rent.
Yeah. They need more than just pencils and paper.
Yeah, kind of important. But anyway, that's all I've got for tonight. And we can cut it a little bit short so folks can get to bed before the rednecks start firing off the 4th of July fireworks because they don't know what day it is.
Oh, it's going to start tonight and go all the way until Sunday afternoon.
It's going to be a long weekend. It 100% is. But you got anything, Alan, you want to talk about, or do we want to go ahead and let folks go?
In all seriousness, yeah, this is a big weekend. It's a big weekend to blow stuff up and have a lot of fun and look at sparklers and all that good stuff. But y'all be careful.
We want you to come back next week with the exact same number of fingers and toes you went into this weekend with, all right?
Yeah, don't be one of those stupid people that we hear about on the news. Get you some Roman candles, throw you some firecrackers out there, let the kids see a bottle rocket go up and call it a night.
Yeah, do that.
Eat a burger, eat a dog, maybe some bratwurst, potato salad, chips, take a nap. Enjoy your day off and don't do anything stupid.
Naps are good.
No, naps are glorious.
They are glorious. But y'all have a great weekend. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Read some comics. Come back next week like SBC comic fan was saying, hey, what about this comic? Come back next week with questions about a comic that's coming out right now, and we'll talk about it. We want this to be interactive. We want you guys to contribute too. So let's do that. And anyway, have a great 4th of July, and we will catch y'all next time.